anybody know?
Hey everybody, it's Edie and welcome to Mixed Mediology Vlogishness. That's right, today's video is a vlog. So you may notice that my space is a little bit different. I finally created some like sacred, comfy, relaxed space in my studio. So I've been sitting in my desk chair for like forever. All of my videos I'm in my desk chair and I feel like I'm sitting upright and I'm proper and dude, I just want to like relax and chit chat with you guys. So I finally set up the space in my studio that gives me the breathing room and the vibe that I wanted for that. So welcome to the new space. This is where I'll be doing the vlogs and a couple of other things for the videos. Now regular art videos, those will still be in my desk chair, you know, with art stuff behind me. But when we're just sitting here hanging out, this is the new space. I'm totally digging it. I love it. I'm so happy. Okay, so today's video, like I said, is a vlog. If you follow me on Facebook, you kind of know the backstory about this, but we live here in base housing in Sicily, and I don't tend to believe in like possessions or really dangerous interactions necessarily with let's call them spirits. But I do believe that spirits can be attached to places and things, and they have a way of interacting with you. I firmly believe in all that. I've never experienced a negative spirit. I've experienced positive spirits. I find different signs and just little things from different, and I know who they're from, and I know that it's a certain person trying to communicate with me and let me know that they're watching over me or that they're with me or whatever. So I have totally experienced that before. And once when I was younger, I had a really negative experience with what I think was a spirit. But not since then have I had any sort of interaction with that. Okay, so fast forward to today. Today meaning, current era. We live in base housing in Sicily, and there is something in this fucking house. I don't know what it is, but there is something in this house. There may be a couple of things in this house, and I don't really know exactly what they are. But weird, random shit comes up missing in my house all the time, and it's unexplained, and it's the most random shit. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, then you will know I've been searching for my jelly plate for, I don't know, a year. It's a fucking 12 by 12 jelly plate. It's not tiny. I knew exactly where I put it because it's the only place that I could lay it flat in my studio. It was actually underneath the armoire that used to sit right here in this spot that I just got rid of. So I knew I placed it under there, but that's the only place it would fit because I wanted it to lay flat. I didn't want anything on top of it. I didn't want it to, be teetering. So I put it underneath the armoire on the floor so that it could lay flat. I've been searching for it for a year. It's been gone, like gone. And I searched under the armoire many times. I looked under my dresser. I've looked in every drawer. I looked everywhere. Okay, so we pulled the armoire out of here. The jelly plate. Now, the armoire was in place, the rug was in place, and then I slid the jelly plate up underneath, right? Somehow or another, the jelly plate managed to wiggle its way up the wall, scoot itself back under the edge of the carpet, and then scoot back down because there was literally about 2 inches of it sticking out past the edge of the carpet. It was underneath the carpet, behind the armoire, under the armoire. Totally unexplainable. Totally unexplainable. There's no way that could have happened. So, weird shit like that constantly happens in this house. Shit goes missing. Random shit missing, unexplained, gone forever. My husband's keys, we've been in this house a year and a half. They disappeared within the first couple of weeks of him living here before I even moved here to join him. Can't find the keys. And they were nowhere. They haven't been anywhere else because he had to drive home and use the keys to get into the house. Keys are gone. And the house wasn't even unpacked at the time when he lost his keys. Our stuff hadn't even arrived at the time. So it's been an ongoing thing that shit just randomly disappears. The other thing that happens is I've never experienced apparitions of any kind. However, in this house, there is some sort of dark shadow that we've both seen. Now, my husband doesn't believe in any of this shit. He doesn't buy it. He doesn't believe it. I joke, the fairy stole the keys, or, there's something in this house. I keep saying that shit to him, and he's like, yeah, right, babe, whatever, okay. The dark shadow, he sees it. And when he first started agreeing with me, I thought he was fucking with me because I know he doesn't believe in any of that. And so I'm like, I'll turn like this because I will have seen, something walk behind me. Or, I'll look this way because I think it's him or my son coming up behind me, and I turn to look at him and there's nobody there. But it's a dark shadow, and we've both seen it. And he's told me, yeah, I've seen it. I usually see it over here, or I see it over here, or I see it. And he's told me where he's seen it. And it's the same places that I've seen it, which is really fucking freaky because I don't deal well with stuff like that. So it's really starting to freak me out. And on top of all that, there's a really negative energy in this house. And I think it's contributing to the depression and the just negativeness that I have felt here. There is definitely a negative vibe in this house. So I've been wanting to smudge for the longest time. I don't necessarily like the smell of sage. It's kind of overpowering to me. It takes my breath away. So I don't smudge with sage. And so I was looking for something else that I could smudge with. And in some of my YouTube meanderings, I found one of my favorite YouTubers, Avalon's Spiritual Odyssey. So if you're into tarot and magical stuffs, go check out Avalon's channel, Avalon's Spiritual Odyssey. So I was watching her channel, and she was talking about Palo Santo, which I had never heard of at the time. And she like showed it in its little sticks. I had never seen it, never heard of it. And she was kind of explaining what it smelled like. And she started talking about using it in place of sage. And I was like, oh, okay. So I ordered the Palo Santo, and it arrived just before the new year, and I wanted to do a smudging for the new year. Like, I wanted to go through and completely clean my house and smudge. Well, we completely cleaned my house, but the thing is, I never feel like this house is clean, and I think it's part of this negative energy. I'm not a neat freak. My husband is a clean freak. I'm not a clean freak, but I have a little touch of like OCD. Like, shit needs to be in its place, and I like it to be clean, and like, I would never want anyone to come into my house and it be messy. Like, I just have personal issues with that. So my house is always clean. However, this house, I feel like I can never fucking get it clean. My floors, never clean. You mop them, you turn around, there's shit on the floor. There's like, I can't explain it to you. It's the tile, and everyone in housing complains about the floors. They suck. Like, I'll clean the house. I'll scrub it down. Like, scrub it down. Turn around, go back into the room. It looks like I haven't cleaned it in a month. It drives me insane. So I feel like this house is never clean. And I think that's again, part of this negative energy. So my plan was to scrub the house down and then smudge for New Year's. That didn't happen because no matter what I did, I felt like the house wasn't clean enough for me to smudge. So yesterday was Imbolc, and I was bound and determined to smudge this fucking house because I'm seeing the shadow more often. And since I did that first cleaning, that first initial cleaning for New Year's, I felt the energy shift. And shit that's been missing for a long time has mysteriously reappeared. I found the jelly plate under the carpet. We still haven't found the keys. But like my style, I have a specific stylus with a specific kind of point on it. It was missing for like 2 months. And I was on the verge of ordering a new stylus. And then my stylus reappeared. And it's other things like that have just mysteriously reappeared. So the energy definitely shifted. And I was like, okay. So yesterday was Imbolc, and I had a stupid, crazy, busy day. I was gone all day long. And I had wanted to do the cleansing and the smudging and then do Imbolc feast, which is, what I normally do is a feast. The feast did not happen, but I was damn well gonna smudge yesterday. So, I went through and I cleaned, just, you know, my normal cleaning routine, but then I swept the house. And I'm not good at creating chants. I'm good at creating like spells and specific intentions for things, but I'm not good at creating chants. So I found a couple of chants on Pinterest, and I will add the links, not links, I'll insert the photos here. They're not my photos. I don't know where they came from. They're just shit that I found on Pinterest. So I'm not trying to claim rights to these. I didn't create it. I found it on Pinterest. You could find it too. But I will add the images here at the end, so if you're interested in the chants that I used, you'll see what I did. Anyway, so I found these chants on Pinterest, and one of them is a sweeping chant. Sweep, sweep, sweep the ground, negative energy. So it's like this whole chant, right? So I swept, I started on the top, I swept all the way through my house, I swept down the stairs, I swept the entire downstairs, and then I swept all the stuff up, put it in, I took it outside to dump it into the trash, and then took the trash away immediately. Then the next thing that I did was, then I smudged. And again, I found a chant on Pinterest, and I used the Palo Santo. So if you've never heard of Palo Santo, or if you've never used it, this is what it is. It's just a stick of wood, and it's harvested in a way that's it's not harmful to the trees. It's not traumatic to the trees. I think it's all collected from wood that's already fallen or already dead. I can't remember. Anyway, look up Palo Santo, and you can find out how it's harvested. But it has a nice woodsy, fresh, not flowery, not overpowering, just a clean woodsy scent to it. And it smells nothing like sage, and it's not nearly as strong as sage. Because like I said, I can't use sage. It takes my breath away. It makes me cough. I can't breathe. So, but this I had no problem with. And I had used it before, like just for personal smudging and like smudging my studio and things like that. But to actually smudge the entire house where I kept it going, I had no problem with this. Now with Palo Santo, you do have to keep relighting it. So I lit it and I held the flame on there for a minute until it really flamed up and started to burn. And then I would start the smudge, and then it would kind of go out on its own, and you get quite a bit of smoke in the beginning, and then it kind of starts to go out on its own. And I just went until I noticed that there was just a very I never let the smoke quit. I let it go until there was just a thin line of smoke coming from it, and I would relight it again. So I carried my lighter with me while I was doing the smudging, and I was relighting so I had to relight it. In big rooms, I lit it twice because I wanted a lot of smoke, but like in the bathroom, I only had to light it once, and it kept going the whole time I was smudging the bathroom. So I had the chant that I found on Pinterest, and so I started in the top. So I have a specific direction that I go, and I went clockwise. So I started in one spot in my house, and I went clockwise all the way around. I went to every corner, and I have a feather here that I found on the ground here in Sicily, and it's the biggest feather I own. It's like the most compact, biggest, best smudging feather I have. I want a smudging fan, but I haven't been able to find one that I like. So I just had this one little feather that I found on the ground, and I went through and smudged the house saying my chant. I went through every corner in every room, went through the center of the room, and stood there and chanted my chant out loud. With the sweeping and with the smudging, I said it all out loud. So I smudged the whole house, starting from the top, worked my way down the stairs, went all the way through the bottom half of the stairs, and then I stood at my front door, and I had everything open. I had all the doors, all the windows, everything open. And I was chanting negative energy. You know, I banished thee, and I had my little chant, and I'm smudging, and I stood at my front door and said it 3 times. And then I closed it by all the powers of 3 times 3. So I have this thing that I say at the end of all of my spells or chants. And so I smudged it out. And I left all the doors and windows open. And then I went around with salt. Now I normally have a pretty little dish for salt, but I needed a lot of it. So I just poured the box of salt into a big plastic container before I began to use it, so that I didn't want to run out. So I started with the perimeter of my yard, and I sprinkled the salt all the way around the perimeter of my yard, all the way around. Front yard, backyard, everything. And created a protective circle. And then I came inside the house and started upstairs again in the same spot. And went around again, every corner, every windowsill, on the top of all the windowsills, on the door frames. Excuse me. In all of the corners, along all the baseboards, just everywhere I could get with the salt. Especially like behind furniture, because certain things I can move, like my couch and my chairs and things like that I can move, but like my entertainment center, we have a big ass fish tank on there, I can't really move that. I sweep and vacuum underneath it, but there are certain spots that I just can't get to. So like behind that, I loaded down with salt. The places I can't get to, I loaded them down with salt. And I had another chant that I was saying about the salt and protection and, you know, all this stuff, positivity. So I went through and I did the entire house with the salt for protection. So, some people were asking me about the salt specifically for protection. So I wanted to talk just a little bit about the two things that I used. So the Palo Santo, you can also use sage or whatever other smudging thing you use, herb or, you know, wood, whatever. This was to cleanse and clear the space. You can look up the magical properties of Palo Santo, but really you can use anything that you like the smell of. You can use, even if you, in a pinch, you can use stick incense. If you don't have anything else, or if you can't handle using anything natural, you can use, you know, stick or cone incense or whatever. You just want the smoke, because that smoke is going to get into all the nooks and crannies. It's going to, the smoke is going to kind of like penetrate the space and the energy of that space, and it's going to clear away any negative vibes or energies that are around. And you want to get the smoke everywhere. That's why I use the fan, because my ceilings are really high, and just, you know, if I'm just standing there holding the smoke, it's going to go up, but I want to make sure it gets into every space. So I fanned into all the corners and where I needed it to go, because you want it to permeate everything. I mean, your room is not going to be filled with smoke where you can't breathe, but like you want that to permeate the space and to fill the space and to take up the space, to cleanse it, to push out the negativity and fill it with the positive energy of the smoke. So that's what smudging does. It clears and cleanses the space and purifies it. Salt is highly protective. Like, salt is like protection 101 is salt. And you can use any kind of salt. I knew I was doing a lot of space, so I just bought a box of table salt. If I'm doing more ritualistic work in smaller amounts, I like to use pink Himalayan salt. You can also use, you know, sea salt, or any kind of salt that you can get your hands on. Salt is salt, so use what you can find. And then if you like a certain salt for a certain thing, then you can kind of determine whether or not you want to use specific salt for specific reasons. So for this reason, I knew I was using a lot of it, and I just used a box of table salt. And salt is extremely protective. You can notification on my phone. Yeah, you can look up the magical properties of salt, and like pretty much everything you look up, the first thing it's going to say is protection. So you can carry salt in a little pouch with you. You can put a little sachet of it in your car, or if you're going to travel, put some in your suitcase. You can put it around the perimeter of your home, or like I said, in all the corners, or in the windowsills and the door frames. You can have a little jar or a little dish of salt sitting in different places in your home, on your altar, in your kitchen, near the front door, and it's just a really protective protective, I lost the word. It's got protective energies and stuff. Oh my god, what's it called? A protective, thing. Shit, I can't think of the word. Yeah, so it's protective. But yeah, it's totally okay to use table salt. You don't have to use anything specific. And if you want, you can put it into your dish and then consecrate it and bless it ahead of time before you use it. Like, you know, I put some energy into mine saying that it was protective for my home and my family, and, you know, my words of power that I put into it. And that's what I would recommend, is that you're going to put some energy into it along with the properties that come with it, and, you know, put it in little bags, keep it in your car, keep it in your purse, keep it, I have a little mojo bag that I keep in my purse, and one of the things in the mojo bag is salt. So yeah, I hope that was helpful as far as what the salt was for and how I did it. And I think that's it for I already feel better. Oh, so I wanted to tell you, so like while I was doing this, at one point, so I'm sweeping, right? So the first step was sweeping. And I had my tablet with me because I hadn't memorized this chant. It wasn't my chant, like I said, it was something I found on Pinterest, and it's not like I created it, so I didn't know it by heart. So I'm carrying my tablet around in case I needed to read the chant again. And so I'm sweeping and I'm sweeping, and I had memorized it, so I didn't need the tablet anymore. So I had put the tablet down because I had memorized the chant. I was saying it for a good 30 minutes straight while I was sweeping my house. I memorized the fucking chant, right? But there were a couple of spots in my house where the words just would not come to me. I had been chanting it, and then I would get like fuzzy on it, like, what am I doing? What are those words again? And I think that was like where a lot of negative energy was trying to fight me, because the words just were not coming to me. And I'm like, I know this fucking chant, I've been sweeping for 30 minutes, what are the words? And I was getting really frustrated, and I could feel it was the negative energy. It was so intense, and it was fighting against me, but I was determined I was gonna win. That shit was gone. I was done. So yeah, that was interesting. And then the other interesting thing that happened was a couple of things. When I was smudging, at one point I was holding the Palo Santo and I was using the feather and I was smudging, and it felt like my entire hand was pulsating. Like I could feel the energy coming through my hand. And I don't know what that was about. I know where I was standing in the house, and I know at what point, hi, my son just got home from school. I know at what point I was at and kind of what I was feeling, but I don't know why that just started happening all of a sudden. So again, I think that was some negative energy that I was really needing to fight up against to get it out of my fucking house. Then, while I was doing the salt, I was like walking around and sprinkling it as I was going around the perimeter of my house, and it was like all of a sudden the salt just would not come out of the container, and I was like standing there shaking and shaking, and I had been walking and it was coming out just fine, and then it just would not come out, and I literally had to like start pouring it to get it to start coming out again because it was not coming out. So just interesting little things about my cleansing and smudging experience here in this house. But I do feel much better. Just even by the time I had closed the doors, because you know I had everything open, all the doors, all the windows, and everything. And by the time I had closed the doors and the windows, I was already starting to feel lighter. The space feels lighter. I don't know if it's all gone yet. I'm probably going to do this again. Maybe on the next full moon, maybe on the February full moon or something. But yeah, I already noticed a difference in the energy in this house. I don't know if I got rid of the black shadow, but I don't know. I might have to do something. I'm going to keep an eye on it. I might have to do something else for that, because that's just got to go. It freaks me out. And I get the feeling that it's a male energy. So, yeah, that shit got to go. But that was my Imbolc ritual. And I hope it was helpful. I hope I answered whatever questions you guys had about the salt and the smudging. And I'm really bad at, like, because I just do my practice, you know? Like, I don't follow rules. I just do what I want to do with stuff. And it works for me. I don't know if it's necessarily technically correct, but it works for me. So that's what I did with it. I'm probably a really bad pagan to follow because I just do my own thing. I don't care what the rules are. I just make up my own rules. Anyway, so yeah, I mean that's kind of what it's about anyway. It's all about intention. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. I hope you like the new space and the new vlogs, and this felt really good. Like, it was nice and comfortable and enjoyable. But hanging out with you guys is always enjoyable. But I really dig this space a lot. Like, I'm really happy with it. So let me tell you what this is. So this is my, it's a dress form underneath here, but like all my necklaces hang on here, and I have a cool pink feather boa hanging on here. But I have my dad's hat. This was my dad's band hat. So when he performed, he was a musician, and every weekend when he would play music, this was the hat that he wore. So that's in my little space. And I have my altar set up here, and I'm going to do a video showing it, but it's not fully set up yet. I don't know, it's not right. It feels a little cluttered, because I took the top of the armoire, which is where my altar space used to be, and condensed it down to a, you know, like a small square. And it feels a little bit cluttered. So I'm not going to show my altar yet, my little altar table here, because I'm not sure if that's how it's going to stay. But I'm really digging the space, and I'm really glad that I did this. I feel much better already in this space. The cleansing and the smudging has really helped. So if you have any questions about smudging or salt or the Palo Santo, or what I did, if I didn't tell you enough, then leave it in the comments below and I will answer you. If you like what I do here, don't forget to hit that little subscribe button. That way you don't miss anything. Then share it with your friends. That way they can hang out with us too. Thank you all so much for being here. Man, can you tell? Like, I'm just like, it's so relaxing in this space. Like, I had a nice cup of tea. I'm just sitting here chilling with you guys. Like, it's so nice. I'm so excited. Okay, anyway. Yeah. Remember, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all over the place, and all the links for all that good stuff is in the description below. You can also find me in the Mixed Mediology Clubhouse. That's the Facebook group where I host swaps and share artwork that I've made with the people that I swap with, and there's lots of cool stuff going to be happening in the group. I've kind of been MIA because of all the depression and stuff, but I have big plans for the group. Nice, good stuff coming up. So you can find the link for that in the description below as well. Thank you all so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Mwah. Bye!